How to make outdoor wood last for a lifetime, using this forgotten farmer's trick. If you're serious about gardening and homesteading, chances are you've had to build with wood, fences, garden beds, sheds, decks, trellises, you name it. But here's the frustrating truth most of us learn the hard way. Untreated wood just doesn't last, and even pressure-treated lumber these days doesn't give the same long-term durability it once did. If you've priced out modern wood sealers or synthetic decking materials lately, you know they're anything but affordable. But what if I told you there's a way to make your outdoor wood structures last a lifetime or more, using a method that's nearly free and has been around for over a century? Welcome to a time-tested secret known mostly to old-school farmers and rural craftsmen: the use of used motor oil as a wood preservative. Yes, the same extract that comes out of your vehicle during an oil change can be repurposed to extend the life of your wooden structures for decades, possibly even longer. And today, right here on Soil and Crop Central, we're diving deep into the how, why, and when of using this powerful technique to preserve your outdoor lumber like a pro. Let's get straight into it. The secret that's been hiding in plain sight. I first learned about this technique decades ago from my father, who learned it from his grandfather. Back then, preserving wood wasn't about brands or hardware store trips. It was about practicality, using what you had, and making every board last as long as humanly possible. The method is simple. After draining the oil from your vehicle, or getting it for free from your local oil change station, you apply used motor oil directly to wood. The oil seeps in, penetrates deep into the fibers, and creates a long-lasting water-resistant barrier. It doesn't just slow rot and decay, it almost stops it in its tracks. In fact, the only reason we had to tear down a 25-year-old fence with my now elderly father recently was because a tree fell on it during a windstorm. The wood itself was still solid, and not a single board showed signs of rot. That fence would have lasted easily another decade or two, if not for the weather event. Why modern treated wood doesn't measure up. If you're wondering why modern pressure-treated wood doesn't hold up like it used to, you're not imagining things. Around the early 2000s, manufacturers were forced to remove arsenic from the treating process due to safety concerns. While the change made the wood less toxic, it also drastically reduced its longevity. Decks built before 2003 that were treated with the older chemical cocktails are still holding strong after 25 or 30 years. But newer ones? They're showing signs of wear and rot within 10 to 15 years, sometimes sooner depending on moisture levels and sun exposure. That's why old-school methods like oil preservation are making a big comeback among gardeners, farmers, and DIY homesteaders who know how important it is to get maximum life out of every structure they build. How to apply used motor oil to preserve wood. If you're new to this method, it's important to understand that preparation is everything. First, make sure your wood is completely dry. Moisture in the wood will block absorption and reduce the effectiveness of the oil. Let your board sit out in the sun for a few days if needed. Once dry, simply brush the oil onto the surface using a heavy-duty stain brush. You can also use a handheld sprayer for hard-to-reach areas or undersides. Just make sure to wear gloves and a respirator and lay down tarps to catch any drips. After application, allow the wood to sit in direct sunlight for 5 to 7 days. This cures the oil, allowing it to soak into the fibers and dry on the surface. Contrary to popular belief, once cured, the wood won't feel sticky. It'll be dry to the touch and fully sealed against moisture, insects, and rot. If you're concerned about the dark stain that motor oil can leave behind, there's a simple solution. Mix it 50/50ths with diesel fuel. This thins the oil, lightens the final color, and helps it absorb more evenly. You'll still get the same preservative benefits, but with a more natural wood tone. Deep protection for posts and structural supports. When it comes to fence posts or deck supports that are going to be buried in the ground, you'll want to go a step further. I recommend soaking the bottom portion of each post, typically the bottom 2 feet, in a bucket of motor oil overnight. Do this over the course of a few days, rotating posts as needed. The wood absorbs the oil deeply, becoming virtually impermeable to water, fungi, and soil microbes that usually destroy untreated lumber at ground level. Once installed, you can also extend the post's life by dry pouring concrete into the post hole, creating a bowl shape and slowly adding water. After setting, mound extra concrete around the post base to shed rainwater. This two-part method, soaking the post and shielding the base, can easily add 50 years or more to the life of a structure. Roof your fence for extra years of life. One detail many overlook, but one I swear by, is adding a simple roof to the top of your fence. You can use horizontal dog-ear boards or any scrap wood to act as a shield. Just like traditional Japanese gates and fences, a small overhang goes a long way in keeping the tops of your boards dry. It might seem like overkill, but trust me, it's worth every bit of effort if you're serious about longevity. What about garden beds? Now, before you go oiling everything in sight, let's talk about raised garden beds. I do not recommend using this technique for wood in direct contact with vegetable-growing soil. While I believe used motor oil isn't as toxic as many commercial stains, it's still not something you want leaching into your produce. For raised beds, I line the interior with pond liner instead. It keeps moisture out, prevents rot, and lasts for decades, some brands up to 40 years. It's the safest and most effective method I've found for preserving garden bed frames without any risk of contaminating the soil. A word on synthetic oils and alternatives. Worried that synthetic motor oil won't work the same? Don't be. Whether it's synthetic or traditional, both are derived from crude oil and provide similar hydrophobic and preservative properties. Some even experiment with used transmission fluid, which has a reddish hue and can give a more unique stained finish. It's a fun option if you're looking for something outside the norm, but always do a small test patch first to see how it dries. And if you're after a lighter, more natural look without using diesel fuel, you can also apply new motor oil instead of used. It's still cheaper than store-bought wood stain, and you'll get a cleaner color with the same level of protection. Real results with zero cost. The best part of all this, it's practically free. Most oil change stations are glad to give you their used motor oil because it saves them on disposal costs. And 5 gallons of commercial stain? That'll run you upwards of $200 these days. Compare that to a 10-gallon haul of free oil, and you're suddenly getting results better than store-bought options, without spending a dime. In my own projects, I've used this method on dog fences, underdeck closets, ramps, and more. The results speak for themselves. Rich color, strong water resistance, and long-lasting wood that holds up against sun, rain, insects, and time. Closing thoughts for fellow gardeners. This technique isn't just about saving money, it's about working smarter, making things last, and reviving knowledge that's been quietly passed down through generations. As gardeners and homesteaders, we know that resilience and frugality often go hand in hand. And when something works, especially for decades, you don't ignore it. You use it, master it, and share it. So if you're building something out of wood this season, give this method a try. Start with a small project and see how it goes. I think you'll be amazed at the results. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Soil and Crop Central and share this with fellow gardeners and DIYers. Let's keep these time-honored techniques alive. Your fences, decks, and future self will thank you.